It's important to note, too, that too many people who believe in an imminent silver squeeze look in terms of supply at silver mine supply, should the silver price go up. The silver speculator, because, as an example, during the Reddit silver squeeze, had such high and immediate expectations, looks at this uncertainty and lack of price movement, and they suggest to themselves that silver is dead. That's wrong. Gold is the first mover. But when the precious metals narrative becomes established by gold, and the generalist money begins to come into the precious metal space, because the population of silver stocks is so small, and because the price movements that are exhibited by the commodities that they produce is so great, the upside in silver stocks is simply mind-boggling when it occurs.
In today's show, Rick Rule talks about the fascinating world of silver. He begins by highlighting that silver is currently quite affordable, which he finds intriguing. What makes silver even more interesting to him is that it's an asset that many people don't really like at the moment. In fact, he mentions how he loves assets that are disliked because they often have the potential for big gains. Rick believes that when the price of silver goes up, it can go up by a significant amount, which can be really exciting for investors. He also emphasizes the potential of silver stocks, explaining that there aren't too many of them. When these silver stocks do well, the returns can be enormous. So even though silver might not be a popular choice right now, Rick Rule sees it as an investment with a lot of potential to make money in the future. This makes silver an intriguing opportunity for those looking to invest, especially for those who are patient and willing to see the bigger picture. Like, subscribe and turn on notifications to let us know that you support us, and check our pinned comment for some massive sign-up bonuses. Enjoy the video.
Simply the fact that physical silver has been used as a store of value, a non-governmental store of value, particularly in South Asia and the Middle East for a long time. And because that silver has been used outside of government systems, it's very difficult to understand, as an example, how much silver inventory exists in private hands in South Asia, and in the Middle East and North Africa. It's important to note, too, that too many people who believe in an imminent silver squeeze look in terms of supply at silver mine supply. It's very worthy to note that at best, new mine supply from silver mine accounts for 20% of global silver production. The rest coming from byproduct production and base metals, and from a very robust scrap and recycling market. One of the interesting things about solar has been thus far that silver is so cheap that a recycling market hasn't developed in the most part with regards to silver that has been used on solar panels. It's simply at $25 isn't economic in most applications to recover the silver from scrapped solar panels. It's important to note, too, that silver at this price is so cheap that the industry has very little incentive to develop a substitute for silver in various applications that require reflectivity. The point of all this simply is that when you go through year after year after year of supply deficit, at the same time that silver speculators are getting more and more and more disappointed, that pop in silver that attracted them is getting closer to occurring. People want certainty. Unfortunately, with regards to silver, certainty is in short supply. Nobody really understands what the above ground inventory is because so much of it is privately and closely held. Nobody understands very much about the price points that will be necessary to encourage substitution should the silver price go up. The silver speculator, because, as an example, during the Reddit silver squeeze, had such high and immediate expectations, looks at this uncertainty, and they look at the lack of price movement, and they suggest to themselves that silver is dead. That's wrong. What is right is that their time expectations, Their time preferences are not a fundamental. They're a personal preference. I guess it's easy at age 70, having been rewarded once every 10 or 15 years for 50 years by extravagant, exorbitant, luxurious moves in the price of silver and silver securities, that I can be very, very, very sanguine. Mm-hmm. I think it's important to note, too, I love assets that are hated. So to the extent that silver has disappointed its adherents, every time I read a negative post about silver, particularly from somebody who is posting about it positively 2 years ago or 3 years ago, when it was at least perceived to be coming back into fashion, I'm delighted by the hate. I'm delighted by the hate because I keep my love in perspective. My suspicion is that if the silver price fell from $25 to, say, $15, if there was a cataclysmic decline in silver, that I would probably end up having 5, 6, or 7% of my net worth in silver. My target allocation at present is 2.5%. That says a whole bunch of things. The first thing it says is that to the extent I'm wrong, it doesn't change my decision as to what to have for breakfast. But it's such a wonderfully disconnected bet. If I'm right, 2.5% of my portfolio becomes 25% of my portfolio. That's the kind of move that you see particularly in the silver equities when they finally come around to moving. When people ask me when that's going to occur, I'm forced to say neither I nor any other supposed expert has any idea whatsoever. And if that lack of certainty is too unsettling for you, get a job with a post office or something.
In 2023, silver quietly joined gold in reaching an all-time high, pointing to a promising year ahead for this often overlooked metal. Unlike the usual pattern where a stronger US dollar causes gold's value to drop, last year saw an unexpected twist. As interest rates were raised to combat inflation, gold experienced a temporary decline, which in turn bolstered the dollar. However, a shift in expectations towards lower consumer prices and interest rates reversed this trend, weakening the dollar and propelling gold to new heights. Intriguingly, countries like Russia and China significantly increased their gold reserves, possibly in response to concerns about potential sanctions. But amidst the spotlight on gold's performance, silver quietly made strides of its own, gaining 17% in value since October. This resilience has experts predicting further recovery for silver, making it an intriguing metal to watch in the coming year. As we step into 2024, the focus shifts to the Federal Reserve's actions and the potential for lower interest rates, factors that have significant implications for both gold and silver markets. Market sentiment remains uncertain, especially regarding the timing and effectiveness of rate cuts in preventing a U.S. economic downturn. Expectations for U.S. Federal Reserve rate cuts have solidified, with an 88% likelihood of policy easing in March. This reduction in the opportunity cost of holding non-yielding silver adds to its allure. Moreover, the U.S. dollar is on track to end 2023 with its weakest performance in 3 years, further enhancing silver's appeal for holders of various currencies. In summary, silver's outlook remains intriguing as it quietly asserts its presence alongside gold. The Federal Reserve's actions and market stability in 2024 will significantly influence silver's performance, making it a metal worth keeping a close eye on for investors seeking opportunities in the evolving financial landscape. Now we'll show you more clips of Rick Rule, so make sure you watch the video till the end to make the most out of it. Hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and use our Bybit link down below to get free $20 just for creating an account, so you can start adding Bitcoin to your commodities portfolio today. Enjoy the video.
Silver as an insurance asset. I own gold. I own gold because I'm afraid it's going to do well. I own gold to preserve my wealth. I own silver as a speculator. I remember the extraordinary move in silver and silver equities in the 1970s. I remember a move in the metal from $1.50 to $50. I remember a move in Coeur d'Alene mines, which sadly I didn't participate in, from a dime to $65. Now, granted, that move in the 1970s was the most dramatic in anybody's living memory. But the moves that we enjoyed in the early part of the decade of the 90s, not a halcyon time for precious metals, was certainly one for the record books too. I remember the price of silver going from $4, if my memory serves me correct, back to almost $50 again, but much more dramatically. I remember, and I did participate in a major way, Silver Standard going from 72 cents to $45. Pan American Silver going from 50 cents to plus $40. These are truly extravagant moves. And people who have the financial wherewithal to risk a decline, risk being wrong, and that have the psychological wherewithal to handle the sort of dormant periods where silver doesn't make you anything but costs you a lot. Those people, and I've known, well, I am one, and I've known several, stand to enjoy absolutely life-changing experiences by utilizing a fairly small proportion of their overall portfolio or liquidity. I mean, think about the idea that a fairly young person has with, say, $100,000 portfolio, and that person allocates only $5,000 to silver, and then they experience the sort of moves that silver has exhibited at least 3 times in my career. That $5,000 becomes $50,000, at least pre-tax. Which is to say somebody experiences a marked change in their portfolio for a fairly small financial allocation. That's why I own silver. I don't, frankly, this is going to sound very arrogant, I frankly don't need the money, but I enjoy the process. The vast majority of my estate is going to go to philanthropy. And I intend to leave a lot. I experienced, I don't know why it is, gold is the first mover. But when the precious metals narrative becomes established by gold, and the generalist money begins to come into the precious metal space, because the population of silver stocks is so small, and because the price movements that are exhibited by the commodities that they produce is so great, the upside in silver stocks is simply mind-boggling when it occurs. If we head into a precious metals bull market in 2024, note that I said if, not when, what will happen is that precious metals bull market will absolutely, positively be led by gold. I don't know why this is. I just know that it always is. And when the generalist money is attracted by the precious metals narrative, silver, perhaps because of its lower unit of exchange, unit value, will move further and will move faster. And the silver equities, which we've discussed many times before on Palisade Radio, don't have the market cap to contain all of the generalist money that will come in the space. There will be lots of newly minted silver companies, so-called silver companies in quotes, companies that failed as marijuana companies, and then they failed as lithium companies. Perhaps they had some dalliance in medical technology along the way. The lame, the halt, and the blind. There will be lots of those. And some of those, like many successful scams, will do okay in the market. But what I'm talking about are the real silver companies. The companies that actually discover and develop economic deposits, that produce silver at a profit, that will deliver real economic value in the face of price escalations in silver. Those are the ones that I'm talking about. The ones that have less downside, perhaps a little bit less upside than the flagrant scams. but certainly where the juxtaposition of risk to reward is more sane.
What do you think of Rick Rule's take on silver? Will he have a load of money to give to charity when he retires? Post in the comments section your insights on the show and let us know if you're bullish or bearish on silver. If you enjoyed the video, please sub to the channel as everything helps with the algorithm. Thanks for watching the video to the end. Hope you liked it, and I see you on the next one.